All right, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is where do uncommitted voters stand on the presidential election after watching the DNC? Let's go and check it out. Let's do it.
To me, a woman's reproductive freedom is, and when she loses that, she's lost her power. It's the power to make decisions about their lives, and so it's taking power away from women to take away that freedom of choice, and it doesn't surprise me that those things are part of a plan.
One thing that we did hear a lot tonight was, why Trump is a horrible president, why we got to prevent Trump from, becoming president again. We heard a lot of that.
And that's like the only thing that was basically said. It was like no real policy at all.
Horrible president. Why we got to prevent Trump from, becoming president again. We heard a lot of that. And again, a lot of that is real. I think one thing that I would have loved to, probably hear a little bit more is like her plans.
So at this point,
she has no plans, bro.
The threats that she kind of laid out in the lead up, right? When it comes to a Trump 2.0, when it comes to the lack of guardrails, when it comes to the possibility of a nationwide ban on abortion, when it comes to what this country could look like under a Trump presidency. All of that to you still is not necessarily enough yet.
No, because this is what gets us into these situations consistently, right? Vote for me because the other person is evil. Okay, well, vote for me because that person is evil. Guys, we need to move past this. Okay, we need to get to the point where we're actually voting someone in that has the best interests of the country exclusively, right? I do not care about the lesser of the two evil thing, guys, right? Which one has the best plan? Who has the policies? Right? That's it. The policies that interest me. Okay, I'm selfish with my vote, to be honest. The policies exclusively need to interest me. I don't care which side it's on, but you just need to make sure you kind of catch my attention. Not vote for me because this side is bad. Bro, come on.
All of that to you still is not necessarily enough yet for you to decide whether or not you were going to vote for her.
It's not enough for me to decide whether or not I'm going to vote for her. She has 70-something days left to go to convince people, especially in swing states, as to why she's the best candidate. If she, wants to talk about moving away from cynicism and wants to move into a new era, she has to differentiate herself from Biden.
I didn't hear dreaming big. I heard why so much of the argument is about why we don't want Trump, and that might just be what's realistic.
That's the only argument.
But I want someone who's going to go in and be like, this is what I dream of for our country, and this is what I think we could build if I win. I really want to hear something positive, and like, what are we building toward?
So we're going to play some more sound, Sam, in the next hour, specifically talking about how Kamala Harris, the vice president, addressed the Israel-Gaza war, which I think obviously is very interesting considering the people that we were talking to. But again, it's this idea of wanting to be inspired, right? And I think one of my biggest takeaways from this conversation that I had last night was some of these voters that I'd spoken to back during the Michigan primary were saying, no way, no how, I am not pulling the lever for Joe Biden. There was a possibility among some of those uncommitted voters that I was speaking to that they could, in fact, come to her side, right? If she sold them the goods that they wanted to hear, specifically when it came to the Israel-Gaza war, which, again, we're going to learn more about in the next hour. But there was a lot of unity over some of the things that she talked about when she talked specifically, again, about reproductive rights, as they mentioned. But wanting to feel inspired, I heard that a lot as well, wanting to feel like this is real change, right? When they saw the change from Biden saying it's going to Kamala Harris, right? I'm not running for re-election. They felt reinvigorated, and they want to feel that coming from Kamala Harris as well, Sam.
And Yasmin, I know you're going to give us more of a debrief on some of these issues in an hour, but I'm just curious, like, of all the topics that you just mentioned, was the war in Gaza overwhelmingly the most important one or one of several important topics?
So amongst the 4 uncommitted voters, it was the most important topic. Reproductive rights, I would say, is number 2. And I think, for Democrats watching right now, for folks that are stumping for Kamala Harris, I mean, that is a real rally cry, reproductive rights, right? I saw real unity amongst the voters that I spoke to when it came to reproductive rights for women and the damage that Donald Trump could do. And that's why I kind of keep
more fear-mongering. Just more fear-mongering, guys. That's it.
Reiterating it because I heard so much about it and reactions from them during the speech as Kamala Harris was addressing it. But yes, in this city, in Dearborn, Michigan, predominantly Arab, Muslim, American voters here, Gaza, Israel is their number one issue, Sam.
Yeah, really insightful, and looking forward to talking to you again pretty soon here. Yasmin, thank you so much.
Thanks for... Guys, I don't know, right? I watched it, the DNC, and I was just like, okay, yeah, it looks like a great party to be at, right? Let's just, party and talk about how we don't like the other side. That's it. No actual policy, nothing tangible, nothing that makes me want to say, you know what? You have something here. But you know what? You guys, let me know in the comments if you guys are also having some issues here. I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris, guys. I'm just not. The majority of the issues that they just mentioned here are also not really interesting to me at all. None of these things. What matters to me mostly is who's going to help me, in some way on my day-to-day, really, right? If that's the case, if I'm going to vote for someone, they're going to have to be in some way beneficial to me exclusively. I think that's how that has to work that's how it should be working, at least, right? You find someone who you can kind of latch on to because they are kind of promoting things that interest you specifically, not your neighbor, you specifically, right? There should actually be households full of people voting differently. But unfortunately, even an in-house echo chamber has the ability to kind of, bleed through real life, let's say, guys. But we definitely just seriously need to get to a point where one household with multiple different voters voting differently. Okay? Vote specifically on your interest, not what you think your best friend or your neighbor is doing, guys, right? Some individual thought is great sometimes. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.